I was cleaning out the living room drawer when something slid out between old envelopes. A thin, faded hospital tag. My eyes caught the name. My name. But the date of birth printed on it didn't match mine. I froze. "Mom," I whispered, holding it up. She turned her head, saw what I was holding, and in a flash crossed the room. Her hand slammed the drawer shut so hard it rattled. "Where did you get that?" Her voice was sharp, almost panicked. "It was in the drawer. It has my name but the wrong date." My fingers trembled. Her eyes flickered. Fear. Anger. Shame. All at once. She grabbed the tag from me and shoved it deep in her pocket. "Don't ask questions that don't matter," she hissed. Please subscribe to our channel and tell me in comments from where are you watching this video, but questions were already pounding in my skull. Why was my hospital tag hidden? Why didn't the date match? That night at dinner I tried again. "Dad, when exactly was I born? Which hospital?" His fork froze midair. Mom's glare burned through him before he could speak. He set the fork down slowly. "Don't go digging into nonsense," he muttered. But the way his knuckles turned white around the handle told me everything. They were hiding something. Later, lying in bed, I replayed my childhood in my head. The comments. The whispers. The way my relatives always looked at me with a strange kind of pity. Aunt Claire's words echoed now. "You've always been different." Different. Wrong birthday. Hidden hospital tag. My mother's panic. My father's silence. And suddenly it wasn't just curiosity anymore. It was dread. I needed to know who I really was. The rest of the evening I couldn't shake the image of that hospital tag. My mind replayed the moment over and over. The quick way Mom's hand had slammed the drawer shut. The flash of panic in her eyes before her mask returned. It wasn't just embarrassment. It was fear. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, listening to the creaks of the house settling. Every sound seemed like a secret trying to speak. I couldn't stop imagining what the tag meant. Wrong date. Wrong time. And why would my mother keep something like that hidden? The next morning I moved like a shadow through the house. Mom was humming in the kitchen, cheerful, but her cheer felt practiced, forced. I told her I'd head out for a walk, but really I doubled back to her room. The lavender scent hit me again as I opened her dresser carefully. My fingers brushed the drawer where I'd seen the tag. I pushed deeper this time, until my hand hit something taped down. I tugged carefully and pulled out a small shoebox. My pulse raced. Inside were old papers, folded letters, and another bracelet. This one wasn't mine either. It read, "Baby girl. June 14th. June 14th. My supposed birthday was in December. And beneath it? A hospital discharge paper, but the name was smudged, water-damaged, as if someone had tried to erase history itself. My knees buckled and I sat on the floor, clutching the papers. My life, my very identity, felt like it was slipping through my hands. I shoved the box back just as I heard Mom's footsteps in the hall. I barely made it to my room in time. At dinner I couldn't keep the question inside anymore. "Who's June?" I asked, my voice trembling but firm. The fork slipped from Mom's fingers and clattered on the plate. Dad froze mid-bite. They didn't answer right away. The silence was thick, suffocating. "Stop asking questions you don't understand," Mom said finally, her voice sharp, but her eyes avoiding mine. "Not everything is meant to be dug up," Dad added, though his hand trembled slightly as he lifted his glass. That night I tried Aunt Claire. Maybe she'd tell me the truth. "Aunt Claire," I whispered into the phone. "Why doesn't my birthday match the hospital tag Mom keeps?" Her breath hitched. Then she said too quickly, "Honey, don't torture yourself with this. Families make choices." "Choices?" I repeated, my heart pounding. "Like what?" She paused. Too long. Then her voice softened. "Some truths only bring pain. Leave it alone." But I couldn't leave it alone. The next day I cornered Dad in the garage while he was sorting tools. My fingers shook as I held up the bracelet I'd stolen back from the box. "This isn't mine. Why was it hidden? Tell me the truth." His face drained of color. For a moment, I saw a man weighed down by something unspeakable. He opened his mouth, voice low, raw. "You weren't supposed to find out." The words punched the air out of me. "Find out what?" He didn't answer. Instead, the slam of the front door shattered the moment. Mom was home. His expression hardened in an instant, like shutters snapping closed over a window. He grabbed the bracelet from my hand, shoved it into his pocket and hissed, "Say nothing." Mom appeared, smiling faintly with grocery bags in her arms, humming again as if nothing was wrong. But the truth was dripping out now, seeping through every crack. I wasn't their child. Or if I was, something about my birth wasn't what I'd been told. And I knew one thing. I wasn't going to stop until I uncovered it all. That night I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Dad's pale face in the garage, whispering, "You weren't supposed to find out." The words weren't just a mistake, they were a confession. I stared at my ceiling, my chest pounding. The house felt like a cage, every wall whispering secrets. And the more I thought about that hospital tag, the more I felt like a stranger in my own skin. At 2 a.m. I couldn't take it anymore. I crept out of bed, careful not to make a sound, and went back to the drawer. But this time the shoebox was gone. Vanished. They'd hidden it deeper or destroyed it. The realization hit me hard. They knew I was searching. And now the game had changed. I decided to look elsewhere. If the answers weren't in this house, they had to be at the hospital. The next morning I skipped breakfast, grabbed my bag, and walked straight into the city records office attached to St. Mary's Hospital, the place listed faintly on the smudged document. The woman at the counter smiled politely. "How can I help you?" I hesitated, then slid the copy discharge paper I'd made with shaking hands. "I need to know if this belongs to me." She frowned, tapping on her keyboard, scanning records. A moment later, her brows knit together. "This file doesn't match your registered birthday, but it does match another child. A baby girl, last name Dempsey. Dempsey. June 14th. That baby was released to her parents the same day. But there was also another file, an error maybe. A baby with your parents' names listed, but different date." Her voice trailed off as if she realized she had said too much. "I'm sorry, I can't disclose more. Patient privacy." But I'd heard enough. Dempsey. Another family. Another child. I left the office dizzy, the city blurring around me. My parents had always insisted I was theirs. But what if I wasn't? What if I'd been switched? I went straight to Aunt Claire's house. She opened the door, eyes tired, lips pressed thin. She seemed to know why I was there before I even spoke. "Tell me the truth," I demanded. "Was I switched at birth?" Her hand shook as she poured coffee neither of us touched. Finally she said, "I begged them to tell you. But your mother, she said it would destroy everything. She said you'd hate them forever." "Why?" My throat tightened. "What happened?" She lowered her eyes. "The hospital made a mistake. 2 babies were placed in the wrong cribs. Your mother found out weeks later. But by then she'd already bonded with the other baby. She couldn't let go." I froze. The words carved through me like glass. "You mean, I'm not even theirs?" Tears welled in her eyes. "Blood says no. But love, at least for your father, it was real. He wanted to keep you. He thought it was fate. But your mother, she always saw you as a reminder. A mistake." My stomach dropped. Every cruel word, every cold look from Mom. It all made sense now. I stumbled out of Claire's house, heart pounding. The streets spun as if the ground itself rejected me. For the first time I wasn't just unloved. I was unwanted. When I got home, Mom was waiting in the living room. Her expression was icy calm, like she'd already prepared for this confrontation. "So," she said evenly, "Claire finally broke. You knew," I whispered, tears burning. "All this time. You knew I wasn't yours." Her lips curled into something between a smile and a sneer. "Of course I knew. I never wanted you. I told them at the hospital, this isn't my child. But your father insisted. He begged. So fine. I let you stay. But you were never mine." The words ripped through me. My knees nearly gave out. "And the other child? The one that was really yours?" Her eyes hardened. "That's none of your concern." I stepped back, breath shaking, my world collapsing in front of me. The truth wasn't just that I was exchanged. It was that I was tolerated barely because of my father. And now I wasn't sure if even he would stand by me. I stood frozen in the living room, staring at the woman who had raised me, fed me, punished me, yet never loved me. Her words echoed in the air, sharp and final. You were never mine. For a moment I couldn't breathe. My whole life I had begged for scraps of affection, convinced that if I worked harder, did better, stayed quieter, she might one day smile at me like a real mother. But now the truth burned all of that away. It had never been possible. She hadn't seen me as her child. Only as an accident she had to tolerate. You hate me because I'm not her, I whispered. Because I'm not the child you lost. Her jaw tightened. For the first time there was no mask, no excuses, only the raw truth. That's right, she said coldly. My real daughter was taken from me. They handed me you instead. A stranger. Do you know what that feels like? To look at a child every day and see someone else's blood. I staggered back, the room spinning. Where is she? Where is your real daughter? Her silence told me everything. She knew. She had always known. Before she could speak again, the front door opened. Dad walked in, his face already pale, as if he'd overheard enough. He set his keys down with trembling hands. Don't, he said sharply to Mom. Don't drag this further. But I turned to him, desperate. Dad, is it true? Do I have another family? Am I not yours? He looked at me, eyes glassy, voice breaking. You are mine. Always mine. From the first moment I held you, I knew you were my child. I didn't care about the paperwork, the mistake. But your mother, she couldn't forgive it. Tears blurred my vision. Then what about her? The real daughter? What happened to her? Mom's lips curved into something cruel. She grew up with her real family. The Dempseys. A good family. Better than us, perhaps. She became everything you could never be. The name struck me like lightning. Dempsey. The same name the hospital clerk had mentioned. I thought back to school. To a girl I'd known. Bright. Confident. She had the same sharp green eyes as my mother. Her name Anna Dempsey. It couldn't be. Anna, I whispered. Mom's eyes flickered, and for the first time I saw fear. That was all the confirmation I needed. I stormed upstairs, my heart hammering. I pulled out my old yearbook, flipping through pages with shaking fingers until I found her picture. Anna Dempsey. Same age as me. Same birth month. The girl who had everything I never did. My hands trembled. I wasn't just a mistake. I had been living her life. Or maybe she had been living mine. That night I couldn't stay in the house. Every corner reeked of lies. I walked the streets until I found myself in front of the Dempsey's home. A neat, well-kept house with flowers on the porch. Through the window I saw them laughing at dinner. And there she was. Anna. Smiling. Loved. Please subscribe to our channel and tell me in comments from where are you watching this video. I wanted to knock. To scream. To demand answers. But my legs wouldn't move. Because deep down I already knew the truth. I had no place there. Not with them. Not with the woman inside my own house. When I returned home, Dad was waiting on the porch. He didn't speak, just opened his arms. For the first time in years, I let myself fall into them. I'm sorry, he whispered into my hair. I should have told you. I thought keeping it quiet would protect you. But you deserved the truth. I pulled back, tears streaming. What am I supposed to do now? Who am I? He held my shoulders firm and steady. You are my child. No matter what blood says. You're mine. And if your mother can't accept that, then that's her loss. Not yours. Behind him the curtain shifted. Mom was watching us, her face a mask of bitterness. For once I didn't care. Because in that moment I understood something she never would. Family isn't always the one written in hospital files. Sometimes it's the one who chooses you. And even if the truth haunted me forever, I wasn't the exchanged baby anymore. I was a survivor. And I wasn't going to let their secrets define me.